If you're working from a home office, now you don't have to work in your city, right? Because you're dialing out. If you're someone who lives in Central or Eastern time, like you can work the West Coast as it gets later into the evening, and you could literally be calling California at 9 o'clock at night, and it's only 6 o'clock in the evening in California. So if you're trying to break into this business part-time and you only got between 6 and midnight to work this business because you're trying to break out of the other full-time income that you have, 6 to midnight, man, that's 6 good hours. Yeah. And midnight's only 9 o'clock on the West Coast if you're on the East Coast. Mm-hmm. Hey everyone, we've got an impactful episode today on how to make 6 figures from home selling life insurance. Would that be the correct title?
Yes.
Yes.
I think that's strong.
That's it. That's the title.
I'd want to know how to do that, so I'm excited to hear what you have.
And Chris and I are in studio today. He wants to know how to do that. Chris and I are in studio today, and we're going to go through a 5-part framework that we feel is absolutely vital. All the key fundamentals for success and setup of your life insurance sales journey over the phone. How many of you are thinking, can this be done over the phone? How many of you feel like I'm face-to-face only? I'm good when I'm working, like Chris used to say, and when he's working with this, right? And if you didn't have the ability to work with that.
What do you think the percentage is now?
What? That are
people who
selling
are
life insurance over the phone?
I mean, we talk about it. We talk with agents all the time about this.
It's growing. It's probably 50%.
That's what I was thinking.
I would say it's probably 50%.
It's at least 50% of the conversations we're having.
Yes. But here's the key. We're going to give you that 5-part framework, but we want you to stay on till the very end because we've got an exclusive offer and an opportunity for you to join us for a 2-day training event where you get to engage with us in real time, live coaching, live training, where you're actually making sales and closing deals, and we're coaching you in real time. Would you be interested in that? Do you think a few people might be interested in that?
I do. And we get a lot of calls about it, actually.
A ton of calls.
Yeah.
So we're going to be making that offer available to you. So stay on to the end to find out about that. It's coming up in a few weeks, so you have some time to register and get set up for it. But we're going to teach you literally how to get in a position to be making 6 figures within 6 months. And we're going to run through that 5-part framework right now. Chris, if people are getting set up and they want to sell life insurance from home, it's just not working for them to be on the road, be doing face-to-face appointments, or they want to broaden their scope of where they do business, multiple states, that sort of thing. Yeah. What are some of those? What's that first one of the 5-part framework? Let's start there.
Yeah. The very first thing we're talking about here is your initial setup, and these first 2 are going to be dealing with time and money, I think.
Okay.
That's part of our conversation. All right. Because when we do talk about setup,
is that the first one?
Yeah, setup is the first one.
Setup is number 1. Your setup. What is your setup?
Setup. Ding, ding, ding. There.
I think he's going to throw it up there.
Yeah, I think he will.
Every time we hit one of these, we're going to throw them up, or Adam's going to throw them up. Someone's throwing something.
There we go.
It might be me throwing some water at Chris.
When I talk about this relationship between time and money, the goal is to make money so that you have more time. But if you don't have money, then you have lots of time, right? So that means your setup may just be a cell phone with aged leads that you're just dialing with a burner app that costs $50 a month. And
people don't know what a burner app is. So why don't we start there?
Yeah. So if you have a cell phone, like an iPhone or an Android phone in your app store, you can.
I like how you stopped and described what a cell phone was, because I said they didn't know what burner app was.
Space, right?
I said they might not know what burner apps are, but I think they know what a cell phone is.
About 50 years ago. No.
In 2012.
Yeah, you can search VoIP, Voice over Internet Protocol. I do know what that is. VoIP numbers. You can look up Burner. Burner's actually an app. That's the app that I've used for this. And you can download that
it's also a phone that you would buy if you were going to murder somebody. or hold a major heist on a major bank system.
Yes, you would.
Or kidnap some people.
Yes, you would use those. But
Or set up a drug ring.
That's a different podcast that Roger hosts.
You would use burner phones, not the burner app.
Right.
Burner phone.
Yeah, this is an application that lets you generate different phone numbers for different area codes. So it's useful. I've done it myself. Just picked up the phone and dialed and called leads from that. But as you start to get income, then it becomes more practical and efficient. That's the word, efficient.
Yeah.
So that you can get more sales faster, so you can generate more income. So you're fighting for efficiency in your business, probably before profitability. Like you want profitability in the long term, but you want these automated pieces. So some of these other pieces that we talk about are a CRM, and that's a
client relationship management.
That was a
software.
test.
Yeah,
that was a test. Good job.
Yeah.
CRM, client management software. Anyway, yes. To keep your leads, keep track of your leads, do some built-in automations to reach out to them. And then also, there's been a lot of talk about different type of dialers, but even with our friend Jason Richter, I spoke with Jason recently.
It's funny. I was somewhere talking to somebody, and they said they'd been watching our podcast.
Yeah.
And they mentioned the power dialer like 3 or 4 times. The power dialer. And they were like, that's so funny when you guys kept talking about the power dialer. And then you gave Chris crap about how many times he said power dialer. Power dialer.
Power dialer.
But we don't need a power dialer. I mean, it's just click to call.
Click to call.
Yeah.
So we've been overhyping this power dialer. Just kidding. No, they're great, but because it's fun to say mostly. But yes, click to call. You just click on the number and it dials.
So there's some setup structure there. And by the way, everything that I said about setting up drug rings or murder or whatever, obviously, clearly, I'm not espousing any of that, nor am I a proponent of that. And I don't want to make light of that. But stuff that you would see in the movies. If you saw any of that in the movies, they use burner apps or burner phones. That's what I'm talking about.
That's our experience here. It's just what we've seen in the movies.
Correct. Yes.
I saw Matt Damon use one in
The Bourne Identity.
The Bourne stuff.
The Bourne Ultimatum.
Yes.
All right.
And then he breaks it in half.
Did they?
You know what? I want to buy one.
Most people break them in half, or they throw them in a river.
Adam, and we'll do it on Instagram. I'll break it in half and throw it.
Breaking in half is
Of course you were going to say that.
Yes. Yeah. Adam's telling us you can't just break it. All right. So they need a setup. And that setup it could be as basic as a cell phone.
Yeah.
With some leads on a spreadsheet, right?
Yeah, correct.
To an automated dialer.
Right.
Click to call.
CRM.
With your leads flowing into a CRM where you can manage those leads and manage opportunities of those leads, where you can just click to redial and manage them much more efficiently.
On the basic level, we do talk about having a laptop so you can access your scripts or be able to keep track of your leads in your CRM, or even color code them on a Google Sheet if you have to.
Yeah. It's a little hard on a
It is difficult.
tablet.
I know people who do it.
It's a little difficult on a
challenging.
tablet, but you probably still could pull it off, but it is a little difficult, especially when you get into wanting to bring up a script or, bring up your leads, a script, and then bring up the e-app and keep all the windows open. It becomes a little challenging. So we do recommend a laptop as a basic piece.
And you recommend, and so it's funny because you come into my office and you tell me I need stuff, and I'm like, I don't need it. And I can be a little bit dinosaurish about stuff, but you recommend having 2 screens, and I get set up in my office.
And a keyboard that reaches your short T-Rex arms.
That's right.
Dinosaurish. So you need to be able to at least type on the key.
But that once you introduce me into those things, those 2 screens, like I couldn't live without it.
Yeah.
It becomes pretty important.
Yeah, so run off your laptop.
It's about efficiency.
If you want a larger screen, you guys can pick up an extra screen, like a 27-inch Asus screen. ASUS is one of the brands that we use around here. And maybe we can put a link to some of these tools in the notes, in the show notes. You can just buy them on Amazon. They're like $250 or something like that for $219, $250, something like that for an Asus screen. It's a 27-inch. You can just plug it in directly from your computer. It'll connect with an HDMI port, and now you've got giant real estate where you can move around and have multiple windows open.
Yeah.
And it's not that complicated.
Opening
you know?
an e-app, you still have your client's information in front of you. Like you're not even asking them some of the questions because the leads are in there and you're filling out the app.
Yeah.
Because you have it and it doesn't feel like you're taking all this time.
As far as portability goes, there's now actually the multiple screen things that you can also buy and slide on
cool.
your computer and just plug them in.
They look like Batman.
And you can get 2 extra screens. You know, they're smaller. You know, they're like 16-inch or
That's
whatever.
great for if you're on the road traveling.
Yeah, for if you're on the road traveling, you can give yourself some additional real estate. So some basic stuff like that helps. Also, a good thing that helps is if you have a little noise canceling headset.
Yeah.
Some people use their AirPods, you know, and we'll use that, but those power down after a little while.
Yes.
So you need to keep them refreshed. If you have like a Logitech headset.
Yeah, there were some folks who were using like the gamer ones, but I think there are some sound issues sometimes, even on the high quality ones. But those Logitech, those are great, and they're only like $30.
Yeah, they're less than $30.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can get them from like a Office Depot, Office Max place. I don't know if we've got one here in studio. If we do, Adam, you have access to one and grab it. I'll even bring it online. But a Logitech headset is good. And so if you think about you're plugging in a couple multiple devices, and your computer port doesn't have all that, you just need a little adapter.
Yeah.
So plug the adapter into your, you know, this has the, what's this one? The USB-C, the small one now on the MacBooks.
Yes.
MacBook Pro's USB-C. You can just, one end does
I
that.
said yes. I have no idea.
And then the other end just needs to have like a port for your
USBs.
You know, your HDMI or an audio port for your headset. As long as you got a few things like that, like you're good to go. You can plug in your headset. You can plug in your monitor if you need one, and you've got everything running in one spot. So it works really nicely, and it keeps you engaged. And if it's a noise canceling headset, it tunes out outside noise.
Yeah, especially if you're working at home with your family around, like
or if there's cats or pets or you know what I mean. It really helps you stay focused. I think it.
Sometimes I just put it on in the house
To go to sleep.
Yes.
You're sleeping in bed with a Logitech headset on to record your snoring. This is a sleep test. So yeah, setup. That's basic setup. It doesn't get more complicated than that. I know some of you, you know, get frustrated that we joke through some of this stuff and you just want the details, but it's who we are.
This is what you get.
This is the setup. What do you got? What's number 2?
Number 2 is leads. Again, this is a conversation.
Dude, everybody wants to know about the magic leads.
Golly, guys. And I'll tell you what, we had a training last week with a friend of ours, and I was waiting for the magic. The guy writes $500,000 in final expense over the phone over a year, in 1 year period. And he was telling me leads that I heard were the worst leads in the world, but that's what he works. And then, you know, some other vendors that he's working. And it goes to show you that a lead's a lead. Like there's no magic. Like I kept waiting for him. Like, tell me the magic. Tell me the secret. It's you buy leads and you work them.
Yeah. But let's talk about a couple, because agents are going, well, where do I buy leads? I don't know where to buy them.
Right. And
there's people listening on here that don't even know where to start.
So there's a time and money factor here. So if you have more money, then you can spend more on leads and get more qualified leads, which when we say qualified, basically, especially like almost all of virtual sales, especially in final expense, is going to be over telesales is going to be a digital lead. Like you don't see a lot of people spending money on direct mail for that. You might see it in mortgage.
Final expense telesales.
Yeah, you might see it in mortgage protection.
You do see it in mortgage protection.
Right. Yeah, but it's different. For some reason, it's different in final expense because I've worked that too on the.
I think final expense, oftentimes the way they're generated digitally is a lower intent, slightly lower intent lead. I wouldn't say lower quality, but lower intent of how the ad is presented to them, how they respond. And they're still filling out a form saying, I want information on, but were they looking for it? Was it a pop-up ad?
It depends, right?
That sort of thing. Did it come across in a feed in Facebook? Did it, you know, how did it appear? That sort of thing. So where they got it, how it landed, you know, all that thing. So it may affect the intent. I think on mortgage protection sales, there's a way to tie the actual lead to the mortgage record when it was originated. Therefore, they're targeting people who just closed on a loan.
Right.
So it's it's a
It
high,
has more of a
it's a high intent lead.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is a
But it's
person
high
who-
intent, but it also has some credibility attached to it. And that looks a little different in some
correct.
cases.
Correct.
Yeah.
It has credibility attached because it's speaking to their
Specific.
loan provider,
Right.
the fact that we recognize that they just closed on a loan, and the benefits that a good lead pro or a good mortgage protection plan can provide for them and their family.
Correct.
With living benefits, the death benefit, all the things. So there's a slightly higher intent. So final expense, more of a digital lead, mortgage protection more often. There's still a lot of people using digital general life ads, to generate those leads. But I think if you're specifically in the mortgage space, I think probably still one of the king of leads is
the direct mail.
direct mail
Whether
lead.
it's a direct mail that's generating a call or a direct mail that's mailed back to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think a direct mail that's generating a call actually would be even slightly higher intent.
Higher intent and lower cost in a lot of
Lower
cases.
cost,
Yeah.
and it's in more real time.
Yeah.
So if they're generating a call, that call comes in right away instead of it getting mailed back through
Correct.
the mail system and taking another 4, 5, 6 days to get to you.
Yeah.
So there's a few ways to do that. Chris, where can they find some digital leads, man?
Yeah. So as far as digital leads, we have some good. We've put our ear to the ground. We've worked some of these leads.
Yeah.
All Web Leads is a great resource. They have a great data lead.
Mhm.
That means they're generating it through their landing pages, through their landing page network directly from theirs.
Correct.
And the thing I like about All Web Leads is they actually have some good guarantees on their leads too. So some good stuff. Like if they say they never filled anything out, I think they do. They may have changed it, but I believe I just spoke to them 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and they do. They will talk to you about possibly exchanging that lead out.
Oh,
And I'm
wow.
like, are you sure about that? Like I asked them multiple times.
Yeah, how
about
many
that,
people
so-
say that? I didn't
Yeah.
fill anything out. No, that wasn't me. I
Yeah.
don't want to talk to you right now.
Yeah,
And they're just using it as a smokescreen. Another one is Game Changer Leads.
yeah,
It's
game changer. Yeah,
There's another vendor out there, reputable.
that's our
Again,
buddy Zach who runs it over there. He's a
Yeah.
good dude, doing some cool stuff, and they generate a Facebook lead, and they do some cool things as well as like get an extra phone number attached to it because sometimes the auto generated one isn't always great on Facebook, and then they get a keyword like the secret word, not just what is your hobby, but like mother's maiden name or whatever, and then also what the beneficiary.
Cool.
Pretty decent lead, strong.
Cool.
And then heard some good stuff about happy agent leads. I know we have some agents that do work happy agent leads because you can choose the level of qualification because they'll add more questions and the cost will go up as you do that.
Yeah.
So that's
Because
pretty
it's tightening up the parameters.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. And really putting people through a bigger filter to get in.
Yeah.
There are other types of leads. There are like a pre-qualified callback lead.
Yes. Mhm.
That's available where a call center will call and generate the lead and let them know that someone's going to be calling them back.
Yes.
There's direct call transfer, live transfers. You'll hear about these. Direct live transfers where the call center essentially, instead of just letting them know someone's going to call them back, they're trying to transfer that
agent.
that person or that live lead directly to an agent in a live situation.
Yeah.
So you can respond in real time.
That
That's
one.
probably the highest
Yeah.
intent, most immediate, probably with the highest closing ratio. I know some of our agents are using those and
Yeah.
are closing 1 to 2 out of every 3 that get transferred.
The one that's really rocking and rolling right now is all web leads. They do a good job with that.
Yeah.
Smart Financial offers that as well.
And some of these leads for a direct call transfers can get up to like $70 a lead.
Right.
Some of them are based on bids too,
Well, yeah. Some of our agents have said they'd be willing to pay $100 a lead at that.
because of the closing ratio.
Yeah, that they've experienced.
So, and some of them are bids. So you got to put in a bid, and if people are outbidding you, they're going to get the first chance at those,
Yep.
until the next one comes in. And, they don't just keep feeding them because obviously if people are on the phone talking to clients, they will go through the list of people that are in the queue for that. One of the other things about setup and leads, Chris, that I want to make sure we address here is, which ties into our next one, is your carriers. Okay, so carriers, what carriers do you need for successful sales over the phone for final expense and mortgage protection in particular? And that goes back to also leads, like where are you generating your leads at? And you have to have licenses for carriers in multiple states, depending on where you're generating leads at. So
Right.
I want to talk about geography, like where are you marketing to? And when it comes to leads,
Yeah, that's good.
the more states you have, if you're calling from home now, it doesn't matter where you are. So if you're working from a home office, now you don't have to work in your city, right? Because you're dialing out. You can work 5 states, 6 states, 10 states, 12, 15 states. If you're someone who lives in Central or Eastern time, like you can work the West Coast as it gets later into
Right.
the evening, and you could literally be calling California at 9 o'clock at night, and it's only 6 o'clock in the evening in California, depending on what your work schedule is. So if you're trying to break into this business part-time and you only got between 6 and midnight to work this business because you're trying to break out of the other full-time income that you have, 6 to midnight, man, that's 6 good hours.
Yeah.
And midnight's only 9 o'clock on the West Coast if you're on the East Coast. So there's some cool ways to be able to use geography and multiple states to your advantage. You just have to have your appointments for your carriers, and you have to have licenses in those multiple states to do business there. And typically it's simply a non-resident license, a reciprocal license for non-residency. So you maintain your primary residence in your state. So if they were in Kentucky, Chris, they need to have a resident license in Kentucky. But if I wanted to add Tennessee, Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, and I wanted to add, let's say, Arizona and California,
Yeah.
I just need to have non-resident licenses in those other states outside of Kentucky. And that's generally just a simple filing.
And it moves pretty quick in most
24
cases
hours
too.
in a lot of cases.
Yeah, there's a handful of states that do have some hurdles, but not very many.
And that gives you access then to more leads
Yeah.
typically at a lower price,
Right.
because you're saying I can accept leads from all of these states.
Correct.
Which,
Now,
go ahead.
let me say it this way. For a digital lead, just if you're getting started, a digital lead, you can typically get by with 1 to 2 states. In most cases, probably 1 state for a Facebook digital lead. Okay. But with what you're talking about, like a callback lead or a transfer, that's where the large number of states come in. And it's probably going to be around 10 just to even get your foot in the door at a reasonable rate for those states. Yeah.
Or even what we would call like a real-time internet lead that might not be generated off of Facebook, but it's just ads that are being presented. Oftentimes, depending on, again, how many states you're in, you can really get some good value with multiple states.
Correct.
Agents who are limited on states, your price is going to be higher on leads the more limited you are on states. So I know that goes with leads, carriers, and actual life insurance contracts. And then also make sure the carrier that you have, sometimes they require you're using that carrier for these 6 states. Because if the carrier doesn't have a filing fee or appointment fee in that state, that could also hold you up too. So make sure you get all that stuff figured out before you go. All right, what's the next one, man? What's number 4?
Carrier contracts. When you're doing telesales.
Actually, it's not number 4. We're still on
We're on
3.
three.
We're still on 3. We're still on carriers.
We got to get rolling.
Okay.
But carrier contracts, there are 2 things that you're looking for. Your goal is to make it as simple as possible for the client to apply for the application for the insurance. So in order to do
And simple for you,
simple for you as well,
especially if you're a new agent.
Yeah.
Man, keep it simple.
Yeah,
KISS
and
method.
Your goal on, some carriers will hopefully make the jump, but some carriers, they require 1 or 2 clicks on emails and trying to walk
And
seniors
opening PDFs and accepting.
and reading through things. That can be a hassle. Where your client's trying to open a document and they have pop-ups turned off on their phone, and oh my gosh, it's a project. It becomes a project. So, but there are carriers that have simple voice signatures.
Yeah.
And also carriers that have keywords that they can share with you that you type in, or a code that is mailed back to you.
Or a text.
Yeah, or
Some
a
of them
simple
have
text.
a text signature
Yeah,
now.
text signature.
Text authorization with a code.
And those are our favorites because it moves very, very quickly without a lot of, burning calories. People are burning calories trying to understand the
How to do
process.
things.
Yeah, you
Or
don't want to
burning
teach
time and energy trying to figure out how to open up a PDF and get the PDF blocker off their phone, or they may be looking at their phone and they're trying to view a PDF. They're not on a computer. You think they're on a computer.
Yeah.
All kinds of things going on. And then someone's calling in over the phone while they're trying to look at it and they're trying to sign something. Yeah, you want to make it as easy as possible. So some carriers that are great for remote sales or telesales.
American Amicable.
American Amicable is phenomenal for that.
Yep. Simple Voice.
Occidental Life / American Amicable.
Pioneer too, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
They operate as Occidental in some states, American Amicable in others, but it's primarily an American Amicable product.
Mm-hmm.
They have a great way to just pull up the screen and read the disclosure on a recording
Right.
with your client on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
You hit submit. That actually then is voice recorded and submitted to the carrier, and they accept, of course, on the recording, and it's signed. That's it. That's the signature. So, yeah, you got to read through the little disclaimers and the disclosure, but you're in control. They don't have to open up anything. They don't have to figure anything out. You just say, this is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to do it. At the end, I just need you to say, yes, I agree.
Yep.
You know, and proceed. So that's a great one.
Aetna Sendo is great for final expense. They give a keyword, basically. It is like mother's maiden name, city.
And that's changing now. By the way,
is it?
did you
I
know
didn't
that?
know
Yeah,
that.
they're some of them are moving away from that and going with a text authorization. Yeah,
Cool.
because of the, I guess what's deemed an insecurity with the security question.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So some of them are starting to move away from that, but Aetna Sendo is still very telesales friendly.
They're focused on it. That's what I like about it.
Yeah, they're trying to keep it simple for the client. Keep it simple for you and for the client. Aflac is built on the Aetna chassis.
American Home Life. Right?
No, American Home Life. Yes, correct. Yeah. American Home Life is also another product. All three of those products are built on essentially a similar chassis and operate the exact same way or a very similar way to getting signatures and getting through the EAP process with the client. Makes it very easy for the customer not to be confused at the end and to be able to move forward. And I hear through the grapevine, actually I heard this at their conference that they had with their agencies, that Mutual of Omaha is coming out with a text signature process for their Living Promise, which is their final expense product, a text signature process, which is going to make that thing so much smoother. And I think it's coming out late fall, last quarter of 2023.
Yeah.
So look for that. That's a great product. Royal Neighbors has got a pretty simple e-application and also a telesales opportunity, voice signature, essentially voice recorded signature. So there's some carriers like that are right up the alley. Of course, you're going to need a guaranteed issue company to write business with. Great Western Life has a great platform for that. You can also use Gerber.
Yeah,
you can
that
also
still
use
has the traditional email that has to go out. But,
AIG is another one. But Gerber's got a pretty Great Western has a pretty friendly e-application opportunity there. So anything else on carriers?
No, I think that's good.
That's on final expense. What about life? What about mortgage protection?
American Amicable.
I don't want to jump over that.
Yeah.
Mortgage protection is a big part of a lot of people's telesales opportunities.
American Amicable is golden.
Yeah.
And is it SBLI that does some stuff?
SBLI Quality Term is a great product. Super simple, easy to sign, easy to write. It's got great underwriting. It's available for a lot. Oh, another final expense carrier that we missed. SBLI Living Legacy.
Oh, that's right.
Their final expense product.
Yeah.
That product is super easy to write. It's got a great approval rate over the phone. And it's great for new agents. SBLI Living Legacy. That's a
great.
final expense product. There's two SBLIs in there. They're both kind of slightly different, but what else for mortgage? Mutual of Omaha, TLE, Term Life Express, and IULE.
Yeah.
They're Index Universal Life Express.
I mean, you're still, well, if what you said comes, I don't know what the date is on that, but yeah, then
that's for final expense. Text for final expense.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, with IULE and
still have that-
TLE, you do have the email signature, but typically you're dealing with younger folks.
Yeah, so it's a
At
little
this point.
easier where you
Yeah, it
you
becomes
don't
a
have
lot
to
easier.
Yeah. And also, I will say this I appreciate about Mutual of Omaha is they do have videos that show you how to do it. And honestly, you should check these things out before you even start writing an application. So you know exactly what your client's seeing. So I do appreciate that they do that.
American Amicable has a full lineup of term products with living benefits.
Yes.
Foresters also has some great strong foundation.
Yeah. That has some good underwriting flexibility that a lot of other ones don't have.
The Smart UL.
Yeah.
Right. So those are a couple of products that you can write for younger folks with mortgage protection opportunities with living benefits included.
Correct.
And they're done via e-app through the Aptical platform. Again, those are some emails that they got to open and click to sign. But again, you're typically dealing with younger folks, or younger people, and that's much easier to navigate for younger people. But those are some winning opportunities there to write good business. There's another one, Prosperity Family Freedom Term.
Yeah, that's pretty competitively priced.
Yeah, yeah. So there's some really good products out there that you want to keep in mind for this. So hopefully we can get a little list of those. Maybe
if anybody has questions about that, reach out. You know, we can point you in the right direction or have a conversation.
We can definitely get you set
more.
up and point you in the right direction on carrier appointments for sure. What else we got, Chris?
Number 4.
Yeah.
We've got tonality. That's a funny word. Is that even really a word? It is, isn't it? Like it's in the dictionary.
I always wondered what the difference between tone and tonality.
Right. Yeah.
How is your phone tone?
How's your phone tone?
How's your phone tone?
Yeah, that's the right question. And I think new agents can struggle with sounding scripted. They're reading a script. Sometimes they can sound very nervous. Sometimes they can stall out. You know,
Or be too salesy. They're
too much
high energy.
Yes, yeah.
Hi, do we have a deal for you today? And it slices and it dices. And wait, one more thing.
And I've heard, like, say it with enough agents, I've heard so much of it that I was thinking through, what is it? Because I've heard the high end and I've heard the low end. What is it? And there are 2 things for me that I'm looking for when I'm hearing from new agents is confidence and also being directive. Like, if you're telling people this is what it looks like, this is what we're going to do, we're moving to this, people will trust them.
And this is why.
Yeah, and this is why.
We're going to do this. I'm going to recommend this product, and this is the reason why.
Yeah.
And here are 3 options in this product.
Yeah, I'm going to need you to go ahead and grab your medications real quick.
Yeah.
Like, and I think a lot of people, they sound insecure when they're asking, especially.
Can you get your medication?
Especially over the phone. It almost like magnifies it, you know? So being directive, like, you know, Roger, like the front part of my scripting when I'm talking to people, I'll say, go ahead and grab a pen and paper. And that's my test. Like, that's the first thing I want to see. It tells me if they're home or not.
Now write down my name.
Yeah.
And write down my number.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah, that's it. But they're like, I can't grab pen and paper. I'm at work. Okay, great.
Well, that gives me context.
Yes.
Should I proceed now or should I not?
Absolutely.
But it also gives you an air of authority, which
I've
gives
done
them
this 1,000 times and I've sound like
gives
I've
them
done
a
this.
sense of trust because you sound like an authority.
Yeah.
I need you to grab a pen, grab a paper, go ahead and do that now, and I'll get this ready.
Yeah.
Let me know when you got it.
And your personality can come out throughout the process.
Yep.
But on the front side, it's confident, being directive, and slowing down is a big one. I hear people flying through it like they're auctioneering, you know, they're auctioning something, and you're losing people. People are jumping off because they don't understand what's happening.
Correct.
So,
Yeah, you're moving too quickly. And I would say monotone is better than hypertone.
yeah, which is kind of interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a process where you're just actually doing your job, getting them the information that they requested.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter to you whether they hang up on you or not.
Correct.
And you're just moving through the process. That's always the best tone. And that goes to tonality. And so in the offer here that we're going to be bringing up to you in just a few minutes and let you know how you can join us for a 2-day training, we're going to be going into depth on some of this stuff. So like everything that we hit so far, just on this stuff, we're going into depth.
Taste.
Plus much, much more. But we got one more for you out of the 5-part framework. And then I'm going to talk about some of the things that you'll see in this training event.
Yeah, the biggest thing I've seen from the weeks of coaching that we've done with agents.
Years of coaching.
Well, I'm saying weeks because it's been so recent that we've had these blitzes.
Yes, okay.
These recent blitzes.
Telesales
That's what I'm
blitzes,
saying.
yeah.
Correct. What I've seen is agents getting to the close, and it's like they turn the power off. Like they're turning the lights off and they're shutting it down.
It's because they haven't gotten there before, and now they don't know what to do.
Yeah. So
then they stall out.
What do you think about this? You know, like they start asking weird questions and stalling out.
Yeah.
And instead of just assuming it and moving forward and starting to fill out the application.
Yeah.
Like That is everything.
Let's keep moving
That
forward.
is everything. You will surprise yourself by getting an application because you assumed it and you were moving forward throughout the whole process.
Yeah.
So
So
that's
a way that you
huge.
can get there and close smoothly and easily is by assuming the sale. And if you are assuming the sale, if you're assumptive in your language, the client will keep coming with you. And the ones who have a problem with it, they will stop you. You don't have to wonder if they're going to stop you. They'll stop you.
Yeah.
But the others, if they're ready to go, they will let you moving forward because people like being led. They don't want to be sold, but they do like to be led by someone who knows what they're doing.
We like to be led.
Yes.
Everywhere we go. You know, it happens all the time.
I mean, the whole travel industry is based on people giving tour
facts.
guides. Why? It's because they're being led by somebody who knows what they're doing and what's around the corner and what am I supposed to look at next. I mean, if you think about everything in life, people read reviews. Why? Because they want to hear from someone else who's had an experience
Correct.
with it.
Yeah.
So if you are somebody who comes across as an authority who has experience with this and you tell them what your best recommendation is and then you give them an option within that recommendation to choose,
Yes.
you are putting the power in their hand to choose, but you actually led them to the product, the benefit, you know, the essentially the price range, and now you're just asking them to finalize. You're not asking them to, you're not opening up again for discussion. You're moving forward.
Yes.
And so we're going to go into closing techniques in the training on how to keep it simple. Don Miller, in his book, Business Made Simple, says if you confuse, you lose. And he talks about when you go to close, make sure you give your clients an easy off ramp, right? So if they're on this journey with you, if they're on the expressway, you give them an easy off ramp. Chris, we were coming back from Dallas 2 days ago at the 8% conference, and the Dallas interstate, man,
Forget about it.
it's like, holy cow. Like, really? The express lane is a narrow 1-lane road with no shoulders. And you have to drive 6 miles to get off the express back into the collectors. And then as soon as you get off, you have to get off again, or else you miss that one and you got to go another 6 miles. It's crazy. There's not an easy off ramp. And it's frustrating.
Yeah.
Right? And we had to do a UE and come back. It's the same thing for your clients in sales. Like, make your process so seamless and simple, it naturally closes and your client doesn't feel flustered. They're not getting rushed. It's so easy for them to say yes and choose one of your options. And it's so easy for you to get them processed.
I will say this about the closing piece because I know we're going to get to this thing that we're doing here. If you are getting to this point and you're saying to yourself, I'm not closing as many sales, it probably has to do with that assumption piece, but it also has to do with your ability to sound like you know what you're doing. And also people, I mean, ultimately it's trust, people trusting you with important things, right?
Yeah.
So if that's happening for you, pay attention to that. If that's happening for you, get help. I'm just telling you, you need somebody to hear this where you are in that process because you're this close to crushing it. You are so close. Get help.
It sounds like you're going for an intervention. Get
We're
help.
here. We're here for you. This is for you.
And we are.
We are.
We are really. Chris, so this 2-day virtual immersive event, dude, we've been doing some of these live events, but they're limited. We can only hold like 10 to 12 people typically in a live event because of the area for call center training. We can go up to 14 possibly. And we're doing some of these on the road around the country, but we recently did 2 back-to-back weeks here in Louisville. And if you've been watching our podcast or listening in to any of the audio version, you'll have met some of the people that were in here on some of our training. But we're actually doing a 2-day virtual event coming up. What are the dates, Chris? September 7th and 8th?
Yes, September 7th and 8th.
And I believe that's a Thursday, Friday, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it'll be from 8:30 a.m. to 8
Finish.
p.m.
Until finish.
Eastern time. Until
They'll finish.
That's right.
Chris, you're scaring them off now.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't
You
have said
told
that.
them details that
It's
might not have been
8:30 a.m.
necessary.
8:30 a.m. to 8:45 a.m.
Here's the cool thing. Here's the cool thing about what this is. It's a training event unlike any other training event. Most training events that you go sit in a classroom or in a large hotel room, classroom style, where you have a little desk in front of you. You're taking notes feverishly, and then you kind of talk about it. You do Q&A, and you may do that for a day, day and a half, 2 days, and then you go home and you try to implement. Right? There may be a little role play, but that's about it. And you go home and you try to implement. This is a live training event that we're going to give you the goods. We're actually going to cover things like this. We're We're going to cover the 5 fundamentals of a one-call close, the telesales winning mindset. What do people who are producing at a high level in telesales, what are they thinking about that the rest of us are not?
Mm-hmm.
And what is that sets them apart? Call strategies of the top 8%. Call strategies. How are they calling? Like, people think, what do you mean? There's a way to call other than dialing a number or clicking a button? You better believe there's a way to call, and there's a way to call to get people to answer.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about all of that, like the technology, the best tech that you need to win, top producing sales resources, everything from multiple scripts for different types of sales to call control scripts, worksheets, so that when you get those common rebuttals, you've got answers to give. We're going to be doing live on-call interactive coaching. So you're going to be dialing. We train.
Yes.
Then you dial. Then we coach.
Yes.
Then you close. And when you close, you're making money during the event.
Yeah. So
you're literally making money during the event. Like, it's one of the only events ever that you're going to come to, training events. While you're at the event, you're making more money than you spend to be at the event, and you're learning how to do it over and over and over again. Someone said if you give someone a fish, they can eat for a day, right? But if you teach them how to fish, they can eat for a lifetime, right? And so when you come to this 2-day virtual training event, we're going to give you the tools so that you can do this over and over and over again. What else do they get, Chris? There's some extra goodies.
There is some extra goodies. They do get 90 days of free access to our courses and coaching.
Yeah.
For Life Insurance Academy. That's
boom. 3 months. 3 months. You have
Mm-hmm.
access to the complete library. Those courses are things like the 8 biggest principles of influence in selling, the no-close final expense presentation, pricing strategies to close, top reasons prospects don't buy, mastering sales through story, how to grow and scale your first $1 million business. Everybody buys. That was a course you did.
Yeah.
I don't know how many episodes there were on that one, 4 or 5.
4 or 5, I think.
Yeah, 4 or 5 videos on that and modules. Overcoming fear and other things that hold you back. That's a big one. It was for me. Another one called Meet the Producers, where you get to hear from top producers across multiple verticals telling their inside secrets. We interviewed them live right here in studio, and that's available on the course catalog back on the back end of the training platform. And many, many more. So you get all of the courses, plus you get to join us live on Thursdays, every Thursday for 90 days for our Life Insurance Academy coaching call, which is always every Thursday morning at 10:30 a.m. Eastern, 9:30 Central. And if you miss it, that also gets loaded on the back end of the training platform, and you pick up those later. So, like, all that's thrown in.
Yeah, and this was very generous. I didn't expect this from you, but it was also 30 days at your house where they can live with you. Is that right?
No.
Roger. Wow.
No.
Didn't see that.
It was Lisa, your wife, that offered
to stay at our house?
your basement.
Oh, nice.
Everybody's setting up bunks in the
you know what?
basement.
Why not?
You got air mattresses with the hand pumps. And
That's right.
I heard you were doing foot rubs.
No, that wouldn't be me. Promise you that.
And guys, so all of that's happening. It's a 2-day immersive training event. We teach, you dial, we coach, you close.
Yeah.
And we're going to do one more special thing. So if you're interested in this, this is kind of an interesting episode because we usually don't have an offer like this at the end. So it sounds like a big pitch, but we get so many dang people messaging us about this. We're like, you know what? Let's just put this on and throw it out there and see what happens. We'll have you guys join us for 2 days.
It's a crazy offer. And I know everybody says that, but it is. It's
It is.
ridiculous. What are we
doing,
thinking?
We're doing one more thing.
Do I know about it?
Well, maybe. We're going to do all of that, not for $1,297. And the reason I say $1,297, because if you are going to do our all access courses and coaching program, which gives you access to our complete library of courses and our weekly coaching with you, Zach, or me, or sometimes more than one of us every Thursday morning for an hour for 90 days, if you were going to just do the courses and coaching with us, it's $147 a month. And $147 a month is actually $1,800 for the year. So we thought about doing this for $1,297 as a discount, but we were like, we just want to pull people in. We get so many dang requests about this.
Yeah.
We wanted to make it available to you so you could come in and get a taste of this and win. And so you get access to courses and coaching. You get access to all of the things we're going to be teaching, as we've already outlined, not for $12.97, but for only $297.
That's
$297.
it's a crazy offer.
That's
We said that
it.
earlier.
That's
Yeah.
like test driving the Ferrari, getting all of the goods, and you can take it home for 90 days, but you only got to make 2 small payments on it.
That's a pretty good deal.
And then if you want it, you get to keep it at the low price offer.
yeah.
But the cool thing about it is you're getting trained, you're dialing, we're coaching, and you're closing. These are money-making training events, man.
Yeah, really. Yeah, it doesn't cost anything practically when you look at it that way.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so you get all that. You get all the coaching, not for $12.97, but for only $297. And we're throwing in one more special thing. You want to hit them with what that is?
Yeah, this is pretty exciting.
Yeah.
We are going to pull 6 agents from this experience, and we're probably pulling the top ones, right? Is that how we're doing that? Or-
We
I
can,
guess
we
we'll
can
see.
determine how.
We'll discuss that.
Yeah.
But we're pulling 6 agents to come to a live training here.
Right here in studios.
Spend 2 days with us
Yes.
in the studio.
Yes.
Doing the same thing. So it's really
But live.
doubling your money. And then doing a podcast with them
Doing an interview on the Life Insurance Academy podcast.
on this podcast.
Yeah, and that alone right there, guys, is going to give you huge exposure. I know a lot of you have said, one day I'm going to be on that
Yeah.
podcast. We know that because people say it to us all the
Yeah.
time. In fact, we've just recently had some people in here. Mike Cortang, Jalen Talley of True Wealth Financial did a podcast with us about a year ago, just less than a year ago.
Mhm.
That video has almost 15,000 views right now, and they've had hundreds of agents reach out to them and say, how do I work with you?
That's a result
Wow.
of that. That's
If
powerful.
you've gotten value from this and you thought one day I'd like to be on that podcast, here's your chance. 6 people are going to be chosen out of that group to be a part of it. And you get it all for only $297.
to sign up, hit that QR code right there.
Are you
Boom.
pointing to that? What are you pointing to?
To a QR code on the screen.
Awesome. Awesome.
Boom.
Awesome.
Yeah, you can sign
Yeah.
up right there.
Yeah. Hit the QR code. There'll also be a link here. I'm sure we're going to drop.
Oh, yeah. below.
Some people be looking at this on their phone saying, I can't
I like
scan the
pointing
QR
to
code.
things.
I can't scan that QR code because I'm looking at it on my phone.
Yeah.
So we'll have that on there for you too. But
Yeah.
and we just want to see you win, and we'd like to make this available to everybody. So take advantage of that. I know this sounded like this is an interesting one. We don't normally do things like this
We've
on the
never done it.
podcast. I don't think we've ever done it.
We
But
probably
we've
should
gotten
do
such a
more.
high demand of interest in how do people participate.
Yeah.
We thought the first one we could do is a 2-day virtual, and then invite people in for the in-person one, and see how it goes. And we want to help you make money right away and turn this into a very profitable industry for you and for your family and the ones you love the most.
Let's do it.
That's it. That's all we got. We'll see you on the next episode of the Life Insurance Academy podcast.